Ricky Baker.
He is a bad egg, a youth court regular.
We're hoping that this change of scene will help straighten him out.
You hungry? That's a silly question, isn't it? Look at you. Ricky Baker, now you are 13 years old. You are a teenager and you're as good as gold. Ricky, this is Heck. You can call him Uncle if you like.
No, I can't.
Lola told me to tell you that you should give me something to do. Is there anything you want me to do?
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Cool. You ever been up in that jungle before?
There's about 1 million hectares of it, buddy. It's easy to get lost.
You lost?
Oh.
I'm amazed how lost you got. You little bastard! We got no choice but to camp out here for a few weeks.
Where are you, Ricky Baker?
More on this massive national manhunt.
Faulkner is Caucasian. Well, they got that wrong because you're obviously white.
You're going to jail, you pervert.
What'd you call me?
You pervert.
Back up, homies, and let go of my uncle! So what do we do now?
We run. No. No, we don't need to run.
Huh? Oh yeah, this is fast walk.
Hello, welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for Taika Waititi's film, Hunt for the Wilderpeople. I'm Ashley Hubley, joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Scuck life ever.
Okay.
Scucks? We're Scucks bros? You know?
Sure, yeah.
No?
I still don't know where that word has originated. I heard it the first time in this movie, and I've never heard it ever.
I'm pretty sure it's a New Zealand term.
Need to see more.
Yeah, I don't think they made that for the movie. I'm pretty sure it's just a
New Zealand gangster films.
Yeah.
Or youth projects.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so let's jump straight into it. Please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes in any of the movie. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. That said, let's jump into a discussion of Hunt for the Wilderpeople, directed by Taika Waititi, screenplay by Taika Waititi, based on Wild Pork and Watercress by Barry Crump, starring Sam Neill, Julian Dennison, Rhys, Darby, Rima, Wiata, and Rachel House. Ricky Baker runs away to the wild when his foster mother dies. However, his cantankerous uncle Hector joins him and gets to know him better on their way out of the wild. Dylan, you're a big fan of this movie. Why?
I am. It was my favourite movie of whatever year it came out. 2016? Is that right? No?
I want to say...
yes, 2016.
2016, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to like? That's the thing. I'm like, this is one of those movies where I just feel like it's perfect. I don't think there's anything wrong with this movie. I think it's full of heart. I think it's got these great performances. I think it's very, very funny. I think it's a wild mix of genres at times, and some crazy things happen. It has all these memorable lines, and first time seeing certain people like what the fuck's the kid's name?
Julian Dennison.
Julian Dennison, yeah. And now he's went on to being like Deadpool and bloody Subway ads here and whatever else he was.
Gillette ads.
Yeah, Gillette ads. Yeah. So this was Sam Neill returning to sort of a role he hadn't done, well, like a sort of comedic sort of thing he hadn't done before, or hadn't really done for ages, I guess. The first time I saw Rachel House, right, in this, before obviously after this she was in Ragnarok as well and has a funny bit in that, but this is the first time I've ever seen her, and now I've seen her in a few other bits and pieces. Rhys Darby, of course, is funny in this. He's funny in everything. I don't know, there's not really something there. But yeah, I just think the movie's perfect. I think it's just like, I've watched this probably 5-6 times, I think, maybe. I don't know. I've watched it a few times. Probably it's been on TV and I've had it on in the background before. Even then, like I'll happily always watch this movie. You know, this is just one of those movies where I'm like, yep.
Yeah, so this is my first time watching Hunt for the Wilderpeople, and I'm really disappointed that I waited so long to watch this movie.
Yeah, okay, very good.
I
was about to quit the Discord call.
It's a lot of fun, you know. I do remember watching the trailers for it and being like, wow, this looks like a really fun time, and just never getting around to watching it. I think, yeah, the central relationship between Sam Neill and Julian Dennison is really fantastic. I'm like, This is kind of a weird, wacky version of The Last of Us that I'm on board for. Of these two people in the wilds trying to survive against and just having these random encounters with different people, you know? Sure, there's no zombies, but I mean, that just makes it easier for me to watch. Julain Dennison is great. Even he starts off very quiet and then, you know, comes into his own, really gets comfortable very quickly, which I quite enjoyed. And then obviously we've seen him play pretty much the same role in pretty much everything else since.
Even though he's like so much louder, I think like one of the jokes I think is just so subtle but funny is just like at the start when he gets out of the police car, walks around the entire building, and then just like gets straight back into the police car. It doesn't say anything.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Sam Neill, he's really great in this as well, you know. Better than another film that I've seen recently. He's just plays that, you know, plays off Julian really well. He doesn't like do anything outrageously funny, but just has this, well, I guess when he goes crazy and starts trying to strangle people, that's like probably the most over the top part of his performance. But man, Rachel House, she's hilarious every time she pops up on screen. And it's not surprising that she's like,
No Child Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind.
This is a kid, is an arsonist, graffiti artist. He definitely would have killed somebody. No Child Left Behind.
Kicking things, stealing things, graffitiing things, running late to class, swearing. It's the most like mundane list of why this child's the worst person ever.
I think, just her in that tank towards the end, very funny. Her like telling him to walk across this cliff, like you go down this cliff and climb up. It's too dangerous for me. She's and her relationship with I want to say Andy, the police officer.
The police officer
who doesn't have a gun, you know, and wasn't all his gun, his taser is on order. That's really fun. I think who was Bella, the original aunt. She was really nice and sweet, and then, you know, she unfortunately passed away all of a sudden. That was really I like that whole. It's a story about one person like processing grief, kind of weirdly. One for their wife and one for their. I feel like Julian's character is still trying to deal with being abandoned by his mother and having to live in the foster system and thing.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
One of the reasons I think this movie is above the movie people often pick as their favorite Taika movie is What We Do in the Shadows. I feel like that's the most common one most people pick. Or his movie that's most people, I guess, they've like, I've watched Thor. What else? What We Do in the Shadows. You know, like a lot of people, I feel like that's the most common. Jojo Rabbit, yeah.
His Academy Award-winning film.
Yeah. So anything prior to Thor, I guess. Like out of the ones he did prior to Thor, it's What We Do in the Shadows is the one I feel like most people had watched.
Yeah, that was the most big.
Yeah. And I think the reason this movie is better than that is because as much as I love that movie, it doesn't have an engaging story or emotional backbone to what's happening. And it's just a straight sort of like a bunch of skits and ideas, which is fine. Like I love that movie, but this movie having a emotional backbone and making you care about the characters and, you know, like having a story to why things are happening, I think is like,
Man, when Zag died, very sad. Even if that sequence is silly and weirdly, like very B-movie-esque, which I think was kind of.
I don't think it looks that bad. Like as far as the war, I don't think.
No, but I think they're playing it more for comedic effect and like drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't want it to be like scary, I guess.
But yeah, those pigs, they're big.
Yeah, they're big pigs.
Just shot him straight in the head. I think the other thing that is crazy that this is the film that pretty much got Taika. Thor.
Yeah. Well, the one before. Who knows what else?
Yes.
I presume that, say Feige's the Feige. Is it Feige? I presume he's like the final say in who gets to be director for Marvel movies, right? Which I presume he is. There's no way he just watched Hunt for the Wilderpeople. Maybe Hunt for the Wilderpeople's he watched that and was like, who's this guy? And then he went back and watched some of his other movies and like, yes, I'll give this guy Thor. But yeah, this was the sort of preceding effect for Thor, yeah. But that's why when they announced he was doing Thor, and of course at that time, not many people, I guess, especially outside of Australia and New Zealand, knew who Taika was at that point. Where now I feel like he's a very because of Thor, he's almost a worldwide. Yeah, very household name. Remember when they announced him and it was like this New Zealand director and stuff? I was like so pumped. I was like fucking. And look, I know the joke is I hate Thor. Even though I think it's perfectly fine. But yeah, like Taika, I had watched all his movies. I loved Hunt for the Wilderpeople. I'd watched every single one of his other movies prior to this, and then when they announced he was doing Thor, I was like, oh my god, this is like the best directing casting news I could ever have happen. So yeah, because I was a big fan. I mean, I'm still a big fan.
Still a big fan.
I kind of wish he would make more movies like he did before Thor.
Yeah,
like this and some other stuff. Like I love Boy. Boy is one of my. Really love Boy.
You know, I need to rewatch Boy because it's been a while.
Yeah.
A lot of memorable lines that I don't remember.
And that has like a good like dramatic background.
Yeah, because that one's he thinks his dad's Michael Jackson, or no, he just really loves Michael Jackson.
No, his well, his dad like is a dropkick, so
yeah,
and then and his dad just disappears and goes is a criminal, and then his dad says he knows or whatever. I can't remember. It's been a couple years since I remember watching it. But the funny thing is that Rachel House is in that as well, but I think her role is a lot smaller because it wasn't until watching I remember watching Hunt for the Wilderpeople and they've been like, oh my god, that woman from Boy, you know. So like she never stood out in that movie. I think she's like one of the family members or something. Don't know if she's Auntie Gracie. There you go.
You know, so yeah, she's like a good luck charm for Taika, it looks like, in a bunch of his projects.
She's in his first movie too.
In Eagle vs. Shark, yeah.
Eagle vs. Shark, yeah.
Yeah, and in Thor, obviously. In Jojo Rabbit. Oh.
Is she in Jojo Rabbit as well?
I think so. It might be. It says deleted scene, so I don't know.
Okay.
She's also in his next film, Next Goal Wins, whenever that comes out. That was like filmed ages ago, but yeah, who knows at this point. Yeah, just a lot of fun, a lot of heart, just the silliness of certain things, like him setting a dummy of himself on fire would be enough to get him out, and then he's gone for like 3 hours and is like, no, fuck it, I'm going back. Which is my response to the prospect of living in the wild. In the bush.
I love that, like the big scene and runs away, and then next morning it's like where she's just sitting there sipping tea or a cup of tea or whatever. Like, well, you made it.
200 meters.
200 meters from the house or whatever.
That's so fun. Any other key? I think the whole sequence where they're meeting those other people at that camp or the lodge. Okay. Yeah. The way he's talking, they all think that Sam Neill molested him.
He's not doing it on purpose. Like, that's the thing. Like,
we're all thinking it.
He's really that naive. Yeah, he's like doesn't even realize how it sounds to them.
Yeah. I think the only thing maybe that I would say is like the time. The time isn't obvious. The time because a movie takes place over several months.
Oh yeah, it takes place over like nearly a year.
Yeah, I think that would be the only thing.
Yeah,
because Sam Neill looks the exact same in every single scene. So how is he shaving his face? You know,
no. I presume they always like sneak into those camping lodges when they can.
Yeah, I guess, but you know, how are the police so incompetent they didn't find a fake?
Because they're terrible. They're
terrible. Two other shout outs. Bring back Taika, who plays the minister at
which is great.
Her wife's funeral.
It's through that door. And you know it's through that door?
Jesus.
No,
it's not.
No.
I thought it was Jesus.
No, it's not. I thought too. I thought it would be Jesus through that door. But it's not. You know what's through there?
Another door.
Candy? No.
Candy.
No, another door. You know what's through that door?
Jesus.
Yes, Jesus. That's right. It's such a long-winded fucking gibberish bit.
For no reason.
No reason. Yeah. It's just funny though.
Fucking hilarious. And then Rhys Darby, of course, shows up as Psycho Sam.
Yeah.
Is he a man or is he a bush?
Who knows? I like that part where he's like, "Oh, I've got an escape tunnel." Lifts it up. I forgot to dig that.
What have I been doing with my life?
What have I been doing with my life? Yeah. And he's like, it's so funny though, because he plays him out to be this like big tinfoil wearing, like the government's out to get you. And then the reason they got caught is because he's like, upgraded your phone to 4G. So dumb.
Oh man. How do we feel about the ending of this movie? We get this massive car chase, which is totally did not expect.
No,
especially
it's
with
it's actually a good car chase though.
It is a good car chase. And it's like totally random that all these police cars show up out of nowhere. You've got the hunters at the same time who are pissed off that they've been, stolen from several times. And then they turn on each other. Well, Sam Neill's like, okay, we can't run anymore. Julian's like,
yeah, I mean, Sam Neill's doing the right thing.
Doing the sensible thing.
Julian's a kid. He doesn't know.
And then he shoots him in the back.
Yeah. Doesn't mean to be fair. He does get tackled.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a fun way to end it.
I like how Sam Neill, we always say Sam Neill, but I get Heck. He Heck. I like how he comes in at the stage and he's just like, we got this far, might as well see it through or whatever. And then just puts the pedal to the metal, off they go.
Also, he just commits to Julian just driving the car the entire time.
Yeah, at first they argues about it, like when they were originally getting into it, but then, no, off they go.
Yep. And then we get the epilogue. The other thing I didn't notice, really, I've noticed a few of the chapter titles. But the other ones, it just felt like it just jumped numbers. I don't know if that was just me not paying attention.
It is center screen. It's not like small text. It comes up.
I don't know. I must have just looked away from the screen at different points when they showed up. We got an epilogue, like a year after, where he's living with the girl he had a crush. he ran into and had a moment. He had a sausage. She sang a song.
She's funny.
And he fell asleep.
Her and her dad are quite funny.
Man, that whole thing about selfies.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
That's funny.
And you hold me now. You hold me like you're trying to kill me. And
do you take a picture of us? It's not a selfie.
Take a picture. You take a selfie of us? It's not a selfie if I'm taking the picture.
But no, that's nice that he's living with them. I think that was a nice rounding. And then of course we get Sam Neill, and then teaming back up to look for this apparently extinct bird.
It is extinct. I've googled it before.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a real bird. It is actually extinct. So,
or is it?
Well, I don't know.
Presumed.
It hasn't been seen for like 50 years or something. So presumed.
I saw it in this movie. So
yeah. Well, I don't think it was a real one in this movie. I think it may have been CGI.
All right.
Sorry to spoil the.
I'll just have to take your word for it.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to discuss? Any other favorite jokes that I need to discuss?
I don't know. There's too many to think of. There's lots of just some
him just talking about being gangster and
any of that
stuff.
So.
Yeah,
I love all of the just the very warmliness that Bella gives, just the simple stuff where she's like, "I'll put a warm one in your bed for you," and the nice moment where he hugs it or whatever and realizes maybe that's because they had that scene where he grabs the bottle and cuddles it. It's like, oh, this is nice, and it cuts the next morning. But that's the first night he slept there and stuff like that. I always feel like that's sort of a nice moment. There are a lot of sweet moments in this movie amongst all the
jokes,
the outrageous and funny things. Yeah.
I do love him searching for food, not be able to find any. Comes back with a bit of grass, calls it salad.
Shoots a tree, brings back the tree. Sam Neill's literally got a fucking Jurassic Park slug. Eel. Yeah.
Good times. All right, let us know what you thought of Hunt for the Wilderpeople by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show, or leave 5 stars. Anyway, you can leave 5 stars. And if you If you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.
And they actually did this? Tell them it was the Wilderpeople.
The water people?
I'll never stop running.
Yeah, and I'll never stop chasing you. I'm relentless. I'm like the Terminator.
I'm more like Terminator than you.
I said it first. You're more like Sarah Connor in the first movie, too, before she could do chin-ups.